We are back with the Buffalonian podcast. I'm Joe Cali. As always, I'm joined by none other than Dom Loss. And Dom, we have an unfortunate pod to do today. The Bills did lose to Philadelphia. We thought they were going to be able to win. I'm not sure. Wait, did you pick against them? I'm trying to think.
I
I'm
did.
trying to
I did
remember
pick the
back.
Eagles. So for the
You did pick the Eagles.
first time pod history, I was correct when picking against the Bills.
Yes. So, congratulations on that. I'm sure you feel very good about that.
Thrilled.
The Bills fall 13-12, missed 2-point conversion at the end. I'm sure we're going to talk about our thoughts on whether they should or should not have gone for it. But I got to say, it wasn't a great game for anybody except the Bills defense. They absolutely had a day, you could say, in all seriousness. 17 yards for Philly in the second half, 5 total offensive possessions, all resulting in punts. Like, really can't ask for anything more out of your Bills defense, and they're battered up as it is. So, props to them. But other than that, I mean, it was not clean. It was not good. There was that fumble early, which I'm sure your Dom 5 is going to touch on. But after that, things just completely went awry, and the Bills for 55 minutes were effectively asleep and then woke up for 5 minutes. So without further ado, I'll let you get right into it here because I'm sure anything I'm going to say is something you're going to cover. So the Dom 5, here we go. Number 1.
Number 1, goodbye, Mike. Michael Badgley was cut. Rightfully so.
Yeah. Prater's also supposedly back this week. So
unbelievable. I mean, all you need to do is have a competent kicker, right, to kick some PATs, and you would have won the game outright 14-13. And I knew the minute that kick was blocked, I was like, this is going to get really complicated. Because a part of me was kind of like, this Bills defense has been awesome all second half. Like, this would be the drive where they're just going to let Philadelphia, like, run the clock out or get in some type of scoring range and they lose, whatever.
Yeah.
Or, like, I was like, I think if they scored, they're going to go for 2. Like, I don't see a scenario where they don't. And, of course, it happens and they don't get it. So, goodbye, Mike. I mean, they had the kickoff miscue last week against Cleveland, the missed PAT against Cleveland. Just not ideal. And I don't fully understand why they didn't take him out, replace him last week. I know Prater wasn't healthy, but at the same time, I know the options may not have been great, but you knew who this guy was, and it bit them in the butt. You could say it was a great push by Jalen Carter, and it was, but that was a low kick. So,
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
just very frustrating.
100% cost them, and you're right. They should have made the change last week after seeing. Like you said it best. They knew who he was. I mean, it's part of the reason they went for 2 at the end because, I mean, do you trust him to make the extra point? I mean, you have a better chance of a 2-point conversion with Josh Allen than you do probably an extra point with Badgley. You know what I'm saying? So, like, anyone going to that, like, they just clearly they didn't trust him, and they went for the win. So, Badgley, good riddance. There's a reason you were not, you were floating around before, and hopefully Prater is primed and ready for the playoffs here because can't have any more kicker fiascos because they lost the game. Like you said, could have just won with 2 solid 14, touchdown, extra point, and they couldn't count on that. So not a great feeling.
Second straight. I mean, not second straight, but second loss where the Bills really lose because their kicker misses a PAT, right? Prater missed that one against Houston. You end up needing a touchdown in the game, and you can't get it when you could have been down 3 this one, too. So, yeah, definitely pretty frustrating. But number 2, the Josh Allen roller coaster ends in disaster.
It does.
I don't know what more you could say. It's weird. I feel like the stuff that you were like worried about the Bills going into the game, going into the playoffs, you would feel a lot better about a little bit, I feel like, after this game, right? Brandon Cooks goes for 100 yards. You get kind of the deep ball kind of cooking, a bit deep one to Shavers, a couple of the Brandon Cooks down the field. The defense got tested, and I think Philadelphia is kind of just a jumbled mess on offense. Like,
yeah,
they have all pro receivers. Like, that's a legit challenge, and their DBs.
Saquon Barkley, like they have some legitimate players.
They have some good players, and they met the moment. But it's like, okay, now this stuff. It's like Josh just didn't play well, and it's also like, who can replicate Philly's game plan, right? Like Philly just has the opportunity to have 4 guys rush. They don't need a blitz, right? They have 4 guys most of the time that can win one-on-one matchups, get
Right.
pressure on the quarterback and play coverage, and they have very good coverage corners and all that. So who could really match other than maybe like Houston, which is a team you don't want to face. So
Right, exactly. You look at Philly's defense, and it kind of reminds you of that. But yeah, I don't
but
know.
Josh, I mean, just a bad day, man. And there's no excuse. Like I don't like when people excuse the fact that no one's open or whatever. I mean, Josh did, you know, some really just just
Boneheaded stuff. It was
boneheaded
bad.
or just it's in a more polite, unpolite word, like just dumb.
Yeah, you're right though. You cannot blame it on people not being open. That fumble, the first option's right to Hawes. He's right there, and he doesn't take it. Like
hmm
Brandon Cooks is open in the end zone. He doesn't take it. Like he tries to run it in himself. Like
That one was weird. That one I'll give him a slight pass on because he obviously looks. That swing pass is supposed to be the check down,
mm-hmm.
right? And you never. The rule of thumb is you never really want to throw short of the end zone, right? Because if you throw short of the end zone, you lead the ability to be stopped short.
Right.
So that was a check down. He obviously looks left. No one was open. He goes to check it down, and they have that slot corner blitz of DeJean. Now, you could say after he makes DeJean miss, he should have threw the ball. I won't disagree there. But at that point, he was probably thinking, I'm either going to run it or I'm going to throw some guy over the middle of the field, pumped to see if he could open up the window, didn't like it, and try to run for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
right.
I mean, I agree with you. Like, Haas is open. 2nd and 2. Dude, take the first down.
Yeah.
Right? Don't – and then whether it's a fumble or not, I think it was a fumble, to be completely honest. And
yeah, I'm with you on that.
the fumble, I mean, that really did cost the Bills the game. That was the play that cost the Bills the game. You could say the 2-point conversion, I mean, that's just a straight miss. I mean, there's nothing really to say. He missed him. He was wide open. The fumble was a complete avoidable mistake, and it killed all the first half momentum you had. You had the big play to Cooks, right? You get a nice run from Cook. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
And 2nd down, just get the first down. You're in the red zone, tie game. The defense was playing well, and all of a sudden, Philly gets a short field. They get the big play to A.J. Brown, which is bound to happen eventually, and then they score a touchdown. And next thing you know, like you're in a dogfight down 13-0, and you're chasing points. You had to go for it on 4th down. You get stopped literally at the 6-inch line. You have to on 3rd and 8, like just take the check down or throw the ball away. I feel like they would have went for it on 4th and 8 in no man's land, but he decides to do like the Carolina sack or the Cleveland sack 2 weeks ago. It's like,
yeah, you can't do that.
Throw the ball away, Josh. Throw the ball away or hit Ty Johnson on the check down. Let him get half the yard distance back. Then you're at 4th and 5, 4th and 4, and you will go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like I see people defending them and be like, oh, he's just trying to make a play. I would have been fine if he just, instead of taking the check down, runs around and threw the ball away, right?
Sure.
Like I'd be like, you know what?
It's taking the sack
taking the
20
sack
yards back.
Dumb.
Like that's the problem. Like that's where it's like, oh, I can't excuse that. There's no like
no.
You look like Shedeur Sanders out there taking sacks like that. In all seriousness, like that's way back to early Josh Allen. Like why are we doing that? There's a check down available. You could throw the ball away. But no, I'm going to run around back there and then end up taking a sack. It just, I don't know. I know I'm not him. I know we're not him. But like, that's not good. Not good.
Yeah, it's frustrating because he made a lot of great plays too. I mean, those deep throws to Cooks, the ability to break some sacks. Palmer drops the ball on 3rd down. But yeah, at the end of the day, I would put the majority of blame on Josh.
100%.
Because he's the quarterback. I'm not even talking about, again, the 2-point conversion and stuff. Whatever, we'll talk about that next. But the overall play was not good enough. But going to number 3.
I think I know what this is about.
I mean, the Bills made the right decision to go for 2.
100%. I mean, I'll never argue with that. I'll never argue with that. Anyone who does, and now, have you seen this? The Sean McDermott went for 2, blah, 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 and they're like trying to turn it around on him. I'm like, what? Like, let's just stop that. Like, it's McDermott derangement syndrome, as Nate Geary calls it, and I think it's the best thing ever, right? Like, they went for 2. They were aggressive. They went to win the game. They didn't trust their kicker. That you put the ball in your best player's hands, and he missed the throw.
They had a great call.
It was a good call. Joe Brady had a great play call. Like, it was actually good, and he was open. But, like, Josh Allen just missed the throw, and that sucks. It really does. But like, if they catch that, everyone's like, "Oh my god, they went for two and got it." I like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. If they didn't go for two and they tied it and went to overtime, it'd be like McDermott's not aggressive enough. Why wouldn't he go for two? But then when he goes for two and the quarterback just misses the throw, no fault other than the quarterback's, we're turning that back around. I don't know. It was just a bad throw. Okay, it really was just a bad throw. Josh had a bad day, as we mentioned. He just missed him, and I
Oh,
guess that's where I'm at on it.
100% the right decision. I think, again, like people just like refuse to have context in these situations, as you allude to. Like the kicker just missed.
Hmm.
So you're not even guaranteed to get the game to overtime. Like, what happens if you just missed again and you just lose 13
Yeah,
12?
and he,
Like,
he didn't miss a field goal. He missed the extra point from that distance. You're not, you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. It's not like he was 45 yards out on a field goal. He was there. He was where
No.
he'd be kicking from.
And like, listen, the game is over if they get it. And the game is over that they missed it. But
Hmm.
also, I guess people don't understand this either. Like, I might have felt differently if this was a game that really mattered, and maybe if it was like a playoff game, because I would have been like, man, we have just so much freaking momentum. We've kicked these guys' asses for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you should kick the PAT and go to overtime because it's like, dude, we have so much momentum. They haven't got anything going on offense. We just went down the field twice. Now, I think McDermott made a really good point of being like, yeah, we went down the field the second time. It also was because we had to do a hook and ladder play on 4th and long.
Hmm.
So how real really was them going down the field? But at the same time, you have all the momentum. If this is a meaningful game, which it ended up not, I'm sorry. Like, I don't care about the playoff seeding. I don't think the Patriots are gonna lose at home to Miami next week, so they're gonna win
No.
the division anyways.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, but people don't understand either is like it's clear to me that Josh isn't quite 100%. And why would you? He already has taken a lot of punishment in the game. Why would you subject him to more punishment if you go to overtime?
Yeah.
Like that's
Get him,
just
get the win and get
dumb
off the field if you can.
in a kind of meaningless game. Like go for two in the win. You would probably have a 50-50 chance of winning right there on that play. Great call, and the players can execute. I think it's ludicrous that
Yeah.
this is
No, I'm
like
I'm with you on that. Get him off the field as fast as you can. You do not you need okay, he's without question the most valuable player. You need him on your team in the playoffs. You're not putting Trubisky out there and making a playoff run. Like get his foot back and apparently it's in a better spot than it was last week after the Browns game from McDermott yesterday. So we're going to see what happens there. But I don't know. I'm with you on that. Like you go for the win in that situation. You're playing for playoff seeding more than anything because both you and I did not think they were going to be winning the division necessarily. Like what did we really drop in the scenario? Sure. The off chance that Miami beats New England. Okay. That I'm telling you right now, I did not think that was
I think it's
happening.
more valuable to rest the starters next week
Yes.
too and be okay losing whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Again, the only workable counter you would have would be a scenario that wasn't present, which
Hmm.
is this was a playoff game and you had a trusted kicker that you knew could make probably the PAT. Like if you had Prater in the game and you were at home in the playoffs, you've been like, you know what, let's get the PAT, let's go to overtime. We're at home, we're dominating the game.
Hmm.
Like it's different. If they were on the road two in a playoff game, I would say go for two. What do you have to lose? You're on the road.
Yeah.
Like that might be your best chance. Oh, whatever. But going
Well,
on
and
number
it's
four.
not just like one series either. Like if you go down and score a touchdown, right? Like it's now in the regular season. Don't you get another try at it too?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So
weird stuff
you're
could happen. There's
yeah. Allen would realistically, if you got the ball first, would have to play two series, two more.
well, maybe now I think teams have gotten good at. They're either going to go if you score a touchdown in the first possession. Teams have gotten good at in the second position. They either go for two in the win or
Yeah. Right.
you know.
Okay. Yeah.
In
No,
the
I
weird
get what you're
scenario where
saying.
like a tie would help you, then maybe they would get the PAT. But
Hmm.
yeah, so that was frustrating. But number four, I just think the defense is playing its best football of the year.
Hmm.
And
A tattered defense is.
I just think it's really good to see Deion Walker make plays. I think it's good to see T.J. Sanders makes plays. I thought Mathis and Jones, some of the depth guys were in there. I thought the whole D-line had their moments, and especially against the run. I think the DBs really did hold up pretty well throughout the game
Hmm.
against two really good receivers. Obviously, they didn't have a completed catch. Um, completed forward pass in the entire second half. So I don't really know what to say other than, I'm happy. I think that was a really good again, you come at me with the Philly just is not really well coached, and they're not. I would agree with that. They're not maximizing their talent. But at the end of the day,
Sure.
they're still a pretty solid offense, and the Bills' defense shut them down. They did some new things, a 3-3-5. You
Mm-hmm.
saw Dorian Williams kind of as a guy that went to stunt on the right tackle, pushed his ass 5 yards down the field, and
Yeah,
then got pressure. Like that was a sick play, but
it was.
yeah, I know, and it was nice to see that you still saw Bishop make some plays, you still saw everyone make some plays, and that was without Poyer. So
Yeah.
that's good to see, and hopefully next week, we can rest Bosa. Maybe Judon comes up and plays a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was a performance of okay. Again, this defense in the second half just continues to be really dominant. Like I think you got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff and a lot of credit to the players because they played really hard.
They did.
Even when they were put in situations they're down 13-0 a bunch, Philly has the ball a bunch down 13. Like the defense constantly went out there and got a very quick stop to get their offense back up. Heck, even the game on the line, right? 13-6, first play,
Mm-hmm.
tackle for loss. Next play, tackle for like a yard or two. Next play, tight coverage, incomplete pass. Like the defense has been really clutch in the second half of the season, and I think it's a very good sign for the playoffs. And this is a defense now where I feel maybe the run defense will bite them in the butt and they'll lose that way. But I think we can all say, like, you know what? The defense might not be the reason they get out in the playoffs anymore. Like they're
Nope.
playing well enough where it's like I could see them making a run with this defense. Now the offense on the other hand,
Well, the offense is going to be the direct point, right? Like I feel like that's going to be there's no talent in the receiver room. There's like what's going on with the quarterbacks, anything like that. The offensive scheme. The defense, I feel like for the past few weeks, right? Like when's the last time they had a really bad game? I don't know. Like it's kind of like I have to think about that, you
New
know?
England wasn't great, but the second half was awesome.
Right. So like that kind of cancels it out. Like they did make those huge adjustments and come back. Cincinnati, they made huge adjustments and were able to stop them, right? Like there are
Yeah,
these 30 minutes they're able to effectively cancel out these other teams. Like they're able to button it up and get the job done. In this game, they did everything they possibly could for the offense to be able to go down and get the job done, and it just couldn't happen. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting postseason. I'll say that. I mean, now that they're confirmed in, more than likely right now, looking to be going to Jacksonville. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But right now, if it stands, they're going to New England in Week 1. But we got another number, don't we?
number 5.
The last one. All right. I was like, I didn't know if we were on 4 or 5.
Houston, we have a Kincaid problem. I think they
Yeah,
rested him. I think maybe he could have played, but the rain, the knee, like again, not the
not a
super
good
most
match.
meaningful game. But this passing attack is different when he's out there, and they need him out there. So I'm not going to be against him, not playing this week. Obviously, either probably I would assume in a meaningless game,
Hmm.
mostly meaningless game again with the seeding, but they need him out there, and it's a problem of his career the last 2 years. Is that it's clear when he's out there, they are just a better football team.
They are.
But your best ability is your availability, and this guy continues to miss games. And who knows? But I guess you're just going to hope that the knee can get as well as it can for the playoff run, and hopefully he can last, the 4 games
Yeah.
to hopefully win a Super Bowl. But at the same time, like, are
He's
you
got a
really betting
permanent
this going to
residency on
happen?
the injury report. He's never coming off the injury report. He just lives there. Like that's just how it
So
is.
they got
It's
a big
it's
decision to make of him. I don't agree with the whole they should trade him because I think that's just kind of dumb. That just opens a hole to open a hole.
yeah, no,
But
no.
I'd be interested to see if they pick up his 5th-year option because that's a pretty big commitment to make to a guy that only plays 50% of the snaps. But again, when he plays those 50% of snaps, like they're very valuable snaps, and
Yeah.
you can see his impact when on and off. But
Is that kind of just where you're gonna have to be like, okay, like we got to keep his time on the field a little lower, but he's gonna produce for us in that time. Like I don't know. It's just a weird situation to deal with that injury, and it's nagging, right? Like it was the beginning of the year, it was the knee, and then the hamstring had the knee come back, and then now the knee won't leave. Like it's just like I said, he's got a permanent residency on the injury report as of late. So I don't know. It is a Kincaid problem, though. So we'll have to see what they do. The fifth year option is going to be really interesting. I am intrigued to see that because um, I don't know. I don't know. They are a better team with him out there. So we'll have to see what happens there. But that does it for the Dom 5. I don't know. The playoff seeding, there's only a couple things that really could change. And I'm just looking at the machine. I'm not going to overload our personal computer machines by putting it up here in a stunt, but I don't. It's right now, like I said, the most likely option with the way things work out is the Bills will head to Jacksonville. That's like percentage wise up there because you have the Texans beating the Colts next week, the Jags beating the Titans, the Broncos beating the Chargers, right? Because they're not even playing Justin Herbert next week because they're resting him with his hand injury. And then the Patriots beat the Dolphins and the Bills beat the Jets. And then the only thing that's really going to change is who wins Pittsburgh Ravens next week. But I don't even know what to think about that game. That's just a mid off at that point. But it looks like right now, if that all happens, the Bills travel to Jacksonville because Jacksonville will be the 3 seed in a rematch of the drought breaker playoff appearance for the Bills, where Tyrod Taylor gets knocked out and all that. So a revenge game, if you will, in the wild card. But how would you feel going into Jacksonville? I don't know. I feel like they're the most complete, not complete, but I like Houston. I think the second time around, you might be able to get them. I mean, not if they play like they did against the Eagles, but like Denver, they're kind of fraudulent. Like they go back and forth week to week. I don't know. What do you think of Jacksonville? I feel like they're pretty legit.
Yeah, I think they're a good team. I think the only thing that sucks about this loss to Philadelphia is Houston now has jumped them in the standings and probably will. I assume they're going to take care of business against Indianapolis. So if they do play Houston, it will be in Houston, which kind of sucks. But yeah. I mean, I think the Bills. Listen, I think the Bills are going to be the 6th seed. I think there's a scenario where, first off, I don't think this game is a guaranteed win for the Bills either. I don't say that right now. We lost to the 2-4. What were they, 2-14 Patriots last year when we played them with their backup? So who the hell knows who's going to win? I mean, the Bills could very well just straight up lose the game and be the 7th seed, which really wouldn't be the worst outcome because
go play New England.
I think from their perspective of Denver is going to probably win the one. If everything holds, right? Let's say all the results hold. We'll see what happens in the AFC North. The Bills pretty much, if they win, they'll be the 6th seed. They get to go to Jacksonville. Let's just say they beat the Jags.
Sure. They play Denver.
They'll most likely go to Denver, or the Chargers, if they upset the Patriots, they would go to Denver.
And
all of a sudden, if Baltimore wins the AFC North and it's a 4-5, you get to go to either Baltimore or Houston in the AFC divisional round, which isn't that great.
No, not
right?
Great.
Which is why, like, some of it is now again, if the Patriots take care of business, one of Baltimore, Houston goes to New England, and you get to go to Denver. Or, if the Bills just straight up lose, be the 7th seed, I don't think it's the worst scenario either because, like, all right, we get to go to New England. We just beat them in New England. It's the 3rd time they're familiar with us. We're familiar with them. They would have the pressure of it being a home playoff game, Drake May's first start. Maybe you get the job done. Then you would go to Denver, a team that Bo Nix doesn't have a lot of playoff experience. His 2nd career start, both against the Bills. A team that, while on paper is very tough, the Bills did kind of kick their ass in Buffalo a year. They're a different team, but I still think the Bills
was it for them.
I still think the Bills can run the ball, and be physical. And I don't know, Denver's not a great running team. Bo Nix is a solid but not maybe great quarterback. So I don't think that game's completely unwinnable in Denver. And then you would probably then, as a 7th seed, you had to probably go to, Houston or Baltimore. But that's, I guess the only scenario where, like, I think the most ideal scenario for the Bills is this: they win. Everything happens, right? And they win, Pittsburgh wins. Because if Pittsburgh's the 4th seed and you're the 6th seed, let's just say they do beat Jacksonville and somehow Pittsburgh takes care of business against Houston and the Chargers upset the Patriots, you go to Pittsburgh for the divisional round.
Which would be awesome.
Which would probably be the best path, to be honest. And then you are either in the AFC Championship game, if you win that game, you either going to Denver, which I don't think the Bills match up terribly with Denver,
No,
or
me
you
either.
host the Chargers in the 6-7 game.
Hmm.
So I know that's allowed would happen to be kind of improbable, but
Yeah,
that
we'd be
would be the
rooting for
best path.
the damn Steelers to pull off a miracle against the Houston Texans. But hey, I'm all for it.
But
I have no
talking about
concern.
either they're either playing Jacksonville or New England. I'm already kind of assuming that that's the case. I probably would say I'd rather want to play New England because again, New England's lack of experience. I think the Bills know they're familiar with the Patriots, and so are them, so that could be a negative. But I think Josh is Josh, and I think that's a pretty good matchup. I don't think the Jags are a terrible matchup. Listen, the Jags have a very good run defense. I think we've seen time and time, the Bills when they play against elite run defenses, they have some good games, some bad games. I think we saw Cleveland, that was a pretty good game against an elite run defense.
Yeah.
I thought the Eagles, while they're not maybe sometimes great, but they got Jalen Carter back, they kind of took it to them. But the Jags pass rush is not very good. So I don't think Josh will be under siege that much. So he'll have time to throw and these guys can uncover and all that. And while the Jags do have, I think, a top 10 offense, it's not like if you look at a lot of the metrics, they're not a great running team. And who kind of knows sometimes with Trevor Lawrence, he could go hot and cold. So I don't think that's a bad matchup. I think both of them are fine. The Bills will probably be favored in both just because of the Bills.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What would you prefer?
See, I don't mind a New England matchup for the third time. I'm kind of there, right? Like I think they could go into New England and take care of business. Hopefully not down 21-0 at any
I'd
point.
rather
But
play Jacksonville. I've made up my mind. I'd rather play. I know a lot of people are the opposite. I kind of would rather just play the Jags.
yeah, I mean, here's my thought, right? And that's kind of where I was gonna get. Like, I don't mind playing either, because realistically, there's a chance you have to play them anyway, right? Like, no matter what seed you are. I don't know. It's just kind of
It's
like
weird. I just think the
just take
Chargers
care of
are.
business and deal with it, you know?
I think the Chargers are a tough matchup for the Patriots. So
I
like
think they could be frisky with them,
I'm
absolutely.
kind of cool because then again, I guess maybe you don't want that because you don't want to get stuck going to either Houston or Baltimore in the divisional. But listen,
Sure. It could be
the Bills.
Pittsburgh, though. Could be
I'll
Pittsburgh.
say this and I'll say this. The Bills have done this to themselves, right? You didn't win your
Hmm.
division, which kind of sucks because you've won 11 games. But whatever, that you can say that about a bunch of teams. They've done this to themselves. Like this is their road. They're going to most likely have to win 3 road games, which is pretty improbable, and they're going to have to beat good teams doing it. So like to me, I don't like people like hyper focus on the matchup. I know we're doing it just for the exercise, but it's like at the end of the day, like they're going to a good team and they're going to play on the road.
Yeah.
Then
You
we'll see
could
what
say that
happens.
about
Like
any of these playoff teams,
you know,
right?
like I think it's most important that they rest their guys, they get healthy. Like to me, I guess it'll be interesting. Like Josh clearly is going to take a snap and dip.
Yeah.
I guess it'll be interesting if they get to like the 1 yard line. Do they let him tush push in his 40th touchdown? I'm going to say no.
I think he might just be out after that snap and handoff and go.
I would agree.
Like,
And then
yeah.
the other question is James Cook has a 7-yard lead over Jonathan Taylor for the rushing title.
Mhm.
Jonathan Taylor and the Colts play at 1 o'clock. So they would know how many rushing yards James Cook would need. Now, granted, Derrick Henry is like a $140 away from him, and he just went for 200. So maybe on
Yeah.
Sunday Football he could do
just
it again.
blow it up. Yeah, he could
But
just annihilate it.
I think that one I could see if Taylor gets like 80 yards and Cook is like 40 yards away from the rushing record. I could see them. I could see them pushing that one.
Yeah,
That's
and
the only
just
one I can see.
giving him some reps too, right? Like it's just kind of a week off in its entirety could be damning for certain things, right? Like there's always the conversation of resting and tapering, right? So if you let him go in for a couple snaps, hit his yardage, I mean it's the Jets, he's going to get his yardage, right? I mean they can't stop a nosebleed for anything. So I'm not worried about their defense at all. So if he goes in, yeah, like if he's got 40 yards left to really just, if Taylor passes him, he can pass him back and I would totally do that if I were the Bills. But yeah, Josh Allen, I don't, even though he's close to that 40 touchdown, no. Like, just
The only thing I
steer
will
clear of
say
that.
is that this is a team that has struggled on offensive consistency
Yeah.
and slow starts, and it doesn't seem like they're in a good rhythm. So I wouldn't totally be surprised if he actually put out the first drive or two.
Yeah, kind of like a preseason thing. Like let
Yeah,
him go the first couple drives
like
and then
quick
sit him for the rest
passes,
of the
like
game.
get some rhythm. Like I don't know, I could see that too. I mean, I think they'll just do the one snap thing, but there is a small part of me that's like, like,
Mm-hmm.
am I really gonna be satisfied if like the last thing that we have on tape for Josh is him missing that 2-point conversion in that Philly game, and
Yeah.
after that Cleveland game? Like I don't know, they've had two kind of games in a row where it just hasn't really looked great
Mm-hmm.
for most of the game, but we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And yeah, if you can't tell, we're really not talking all that much about it because it could very well just be the backups playing, and they're only playing for seeding at this point. So I'm
I'm gonna make
hoping.
my prediction right now that the Bills are gonna win the final game, 20-17. I'll go that. I
Okay.
think backups play. I think they'll win.
I'm not going to give an exact score, but I'll jump on a 3-point game with you.
Yeah, I
Just
think
a
it's gonna be like, well,
close.
it's like what that New England game last year was, like 24-17 New England. I
Yeah,
want to say
it was
something like
something
that.
close
So
like that.
yeah,
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think you might see Allen play a couple drives. You might not. We really have no indication. There's no indication around the league really. A lot of teams are still like the coaches in their press conference are like, yeah, we're just waiting to see what's going to happen here. And McDermott did the
I,
same thing.
I will
So
say this though. I will be very fascinated to see what the Bills, how the young players play still. Like TJ
mhm.
Sanders probably can get some good run. I think Harrison will get some run. I'll be interested to see what they do with the offensive line because you can't sit all those guys, and some of those guys will have to play. So I'm interested to see how they would deal with that too.
Yeah,
Like usually they sit Dion. I would assume McGovern, like he's kind of been banged up a lot. Like I assume he would sit, but like
anyone who's dealt with any
Spencer
kind of
Brown, I
injury.
feel like would sit as well. So maybe Edwards and Saibo have to play. I'm not too sure
Yeah,
how many guys they could
anyone.
have.
I would sit anyone who's dealt with any kind of injury and had it kind of linger. I would just give them the week. Really, just this game in the microcosm of things really means nothing. The greater calculus of the season, you are playing for playoff seeding, like we've said, but I don't really care if you go to New England or Jacksonville, right? Like it's kind of you're gonna play them. You're gonna at some point, right? Like you're gonna play who you're gonna play, and they're all good playoff teams at this point, like you said.
I will
So
also say there's the one scenario where they go to the AFC North winner if Houston were to lose, or I think
yes,
or Jacksonville. If Jacksonville or Houston loses and the Bills win, um, they're the 5 seed. So that's something
yeah,
to look at. Again,
yep,
I guess if we're gonna say the best scenario would be that they would get the 5 seed and have to go to Pittsburgh
sure,
in round one. Because
sure,
that's like, all right, 5-4, maybe one the wild card's upset and you go to Jacksonville. I wouldn't be against. I would. That's probably the best scenario. What the hell are we talking about? Like them
yeah.
being
If
the
you could
5
get
and
the
going to
5 seed,
Pittsburgh, they could probably beat Pittsburgh to the 5. Jacksonville, I think, is actually matches up pretty well with Houston. Maybe they knock Houston out. And next thing you know, the final 4 is some variation of Denver, New England, Jacksonville, and Buffalo. And you go to Denver, which again we said we're not super afraid of them. I mean, I still think
no,
Denver might be the better team and could have a better chance of winning, but
no, I
you
agree with
know,
you. They're just kind of. I feel like they could be fraudulent depending on the week. So if they don't give you their best game, you have a chance. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the AFC North. We really didn't hit on it all that much, just because them losing to the Philadelphia Eagles really did kind of dampen that quite a bit from being the easiest route. But it still is the most ideal, if possible. If the Chargers can beat, or Chargers lose to the Broncos, right, and the Texans lose to the Colts, and Riley Leonard could have a legacy game here. So we'll see what happens with Indianapolis. You never know. But before we wrap this one up, I think we do have to address this little thing called a 9-game win streak that the Sabres are currently on. Um, but we're going to do it after a quick timeout because we got to make sure we hit one of those at least. We'll be right back with more of the Buffalonian podcast right after this. Welcome back to the Buffalonian podcast. We did a little Bills Eagles recap and a little Bills Jets preview, playoff picture, outlook, and where we think the Bills will end up. Once Week 18's over, our episode football wise will strictly we'll have the matchups. So we're gonna go around the NFL, look at the matchups, and maybe we'll pave a road to the bowl for the Bills, if you will, when we know the matchups are solidified, who they'd have to go through, all that jazz. So The Sabres, though, as I teased, 9-game win streak we have to address here. The Jarmo Kekalainen era, they're undefeated. The win streak did start in the last 3 games of Kevin Adams' tenure, so it does carry over. But if you're Kevin Adams right now and you're watching your squad, right, the one that you kind of put together, kind of did, um, go on and just rip off these wins. What do you feel like? Like, put yourself in Kevin Adams' shoes for a second. How you feeling watching this? I mean, you leaked the Alex Tuck info on the way out the door because you're clearly already
I mean,
frustrated by the
If Kevin
situation.
Adams is still a GM, Austin wouldn't even be a NHL regular. So
Right. Yeah, but the Sabres again, 9-game heater. Well, the warpath, as many are calling it. They're officially actually on a warpath. It's not like the sarcastic warpath when they win a game. 9 games. They played St. Louis last night. They've had a couple rough first periods, but they're able to kind of come. They're like the Bills, man. They have the rough start, and then they're able to kind of settle in and just take the game back. And they get some chances. They take advantage of them. And they head to why am I blanking? I've been talking
Dallas.
about this all day. Yeah, they head to Dallas. So this is a real test for them. For tomorrow night, New Year's Eve, they're going to play Dallas with an 8 o'clock puck drop. That's a legitimate test for them. If they're able to come out of that game and go 10 straight, are they? I mean, are we back to like 2018 when Jack Eichel, Jeff Skinner, and Pominville did that or whatever? Like, is that where we're at? Like, I don't know. And then they lost 15 straight after. So like, I don't know. I don't know where to be here mentally. Like, how in are we, if you will?
That's a great question.
Because like
How
we've
in
gotten
are we?
excited about this stuff before, and then it just completely unravels after.
I'll say this: I am definitely more in than when the 10-game winning streak was happening because that
But
shit was fluky.
back in the
And
day,
this has been a little fluky at times, right? I
yeah.
don't think they played their best. However, I will say this because people had like all the advanced numbers and like they didn't look great during the streak or whatever. And then, when you filter in the fact that they just kicked the crap out of St. Louis, it's probably going to even out some of the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Sabres have gotten enough credit for their maturity during this streak. And what I mean by that is I think they've had a lot of moments in this streak where, as you allude to, things didn't go their way and they had a lot of opportunity to be the old Sabres and just give up. Great
Right.
point of last night, right? They're up 1-0. They're playing really well. Lyon, who's been awesome during the entire streak, gives up 2 pretty crappy goals, right? And it's 2-1 after 1. And Sabres teams of the past have been like, damn, like, we're just going to roll over. Like, we're
Yeah,
playing
it's
well
over.
and we're losing. Like, this isn't our night, and they're going to lose 5-2. Especially after they tie the game at 2 and then they get a disallowed goal, so it's still 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they kept grinding. Tuck gets the equalizer. Benson gets the sick goal. And then I think they've learned to play with the lead, it feels like.
Yeah.
Right? Like earlier in the streak, why some of their numbers don't look great is because like they would defend, but they weren't really attacking. They were playing like, all right, just dump the puck, like whatever. Now
Let's
it's
just
like,
get out
all
of this
right,
thing.
we could counterattack. And you saw them, have some serious chances to, take the lead. They not take the lead, but like add to the lead. They didn't, but they dominated the third period. And I don't know. I think it's just a great sign of maturity. I think this is a different team, right? We talk all much how this is a team that can win in transition, but they can't win if you slow down the game and make them dump pucks in. Now they can. Like all 4 of their lines can really forecheck. That's like Josh Doan, Benson, Mallet. The 4th line is playing really hard. So like these guys play really hard. They really forecheck the puck, and it's yes, I think they want to be a team that plays in transition, but I think they figured out a way to play a mature game of hockey too when that gets taken away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's like they were the pubescent Sabres for a little bit, and they finally had a little bit of a growth spurt, and we're trending in the real right direction here. If they can continue to do this, and listen, they're not going to just win every game. Like a loss is coming. Okay, that is happening. All right, like what'd you say?
I said maybe.
Okay, all right. That's where, as much as I want it, I just have to base myself in reality. This team has been so up and down this season. Like there is a loss coming, but I do think we're at the point now where Do I feel confident they'll be able to rebound after a loss? Absolutely. Did I before? No, they were definitely streaking losses together before they finally squeaked out a win. So like we're really starting to trend in the right direction. And Paul Bissonnette put out a video last night. He's like all of a sudden a Sabres fan. He's got a jersey on, all that stuff, right? After saying Darlene was Gonzo's last season. And he's like, he had a numbers guy he cited in there. And he's like, the Sabres quality chances they're getting compared to other teams are minimal, but they're still able to score more than a lot of other teams. So like they're doing a lot more with less in a sense, right? So like I think this is a great sign for things to come. And I mean, we got excited when we first started doing the pod. That's when Granado and the 1 point out thing happened, right? So like we thought they were going to come back and be better. Instead, they totally regressed into oblivion, right? And the GM's finally gone from that stint, and they're looking up, right? The change of scenery, just change in general, can actually affect so much. It's so interesting because realistically, like Oslin's the only like big change, right?
And he's
Like,
played well.
and he's played very well.
And they
But
have
like
Joan Kessler. I'll say this
everything's
too.
been like vibe wise more than actual on ice wise. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I'll say this too. I think Samuelson playing really well with Darlene, solidifying the top pair, has allowed Kesselring to kind of get his shoes wet. And we've seen it now, like Power after the slow start. Power's been awesome the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
But now all of a sudden, Kesselring and Power, like a legit pair. It's like, all right, like you could shelter Byram, and Byram's been solid on the third pair. So this team does have holes still, but
Sure.
it's interesting. It's like Zucker's coming back, and it's like, well, who do you take? Like Zucker was good. Obviously has been good for them. He needs a spot, but it's like, who do you kind of take out? I mean, it's probably they're going to put Krebs back down to the 4th line and put Zucker or Thompson. But it's like
he was joking with Paul Hamilton. He's like, I don't even know if they need me anymore. He's like, they just win without me now. So I don't know.
But it's funny, like he's a good player, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like damn, like it feels like the team's going really well, it's a great sign. It's a great sign for some depth. Obviously,
And they won without Darlene the other day too, and that hasn't been a thing they've been able to do. So it's
a different team. I'm not gonna say if you had to give me like how bought in are you. I would say I'm about 60% bought in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not all the way. I need this to sustain for like the next month, but I'm really fascinated to see what happens if they stay in this race. What happens to Alex Tuch? Like to me, it's like with this depth, it's like again, like if you move Tuch and like you can move some of the pieces you get for Tuch for like a forward, it's like I know there was like the rumor about like moving Power at Byram. Now I would still probably move Byram, but like Power's played too well now to move. Like
yeah.
And so
he's come alive.
I love it, man. It's fun to watch. It's fun to be nervous when the Blues have a chance late in the third period.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to actually care about the game, like the result of the game. Like in the past, you just be like, all right, I just hope my individual players that like play well and all that.
Sure.
It doesn't really matter. Like none of the results, like by this time, mattered. Now it like you look at it, it's like, all right, like we're tied for the last wild card spot, but we're only a point back from Washington. Washington has a game and has already played a game. So if we win against Dallas, we're actually going to be in. Like I don't know, it's fun.
It's exciting. They're more exciting than the football team right now, if you ask me. Just because
I don't know about that.
I from the perspective of having to, I guess, my perspective, having to work and talk about them every single day, the Sabres have a lot more juice right now than the Bills.
I would say that.
Just vibes wise.
I think it's at least it's fun to be like, you know what, when Bill's season ends, it's not like we have to go back to this dreadful Sabres season. This season might be something, and I think that's exciting.
Yeah, it's not a black hole. You're absolutely right. So it's looking up. The hockey team's looking up. The Bandits won as well. They're 2-1 on the season. So they're back at KeyBank Center on Saturday. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But the Bills, Jets, Sunday, Sabres, last matchup of 2025 tomorrow in Dallas. So hopefully they can string together 10 wins, Operation 10 straight. That'd be awesome. Let's just see what happens. But that's going to do it, I think, for this edition of the Buffalo Union Podcast. Last one of 2025. We're moving on to 2026. We're going to be moving on to year 4 of the podcast, which is just kind of crazy in itself. But we'll cross that bridge when we get closer to March, where we started this whole thing. But Dom, how do we always end these, buddy?
Go Bills, baby.
Go Bills and go Sabres.